It's still August, so we still get to hear from our amazing Beth Am congregants as they offer our Divrei Torah, our words of wisdom from our Bima. And tonight it's a delight to welcome Lauren Berman.
Hello. My name is Lauren Berman, and I was introduced to Beth Am through my husband, at the time boyfriend, in 1995. He, like many of you, was introduced to Beth Am through his family, and Sunday school, and Hebrew school, and a bar mitzvah. I then had my own connections here. I made my own connections, studying as a Jew by choice, having my conversion, launching and teaching a very popular education program here, along with Rabbi Yoshi, who happens to be here tonight, Yeh Hagigah, and participating in the Atid program. As a couple, and later a larger family, we had Beth Am life cycle events, weddings, baby namings, b'nai mitzvahs, both our own and those of countless family members and friends. In our daughter Rachel's junior year in high school, she, along with some of her friends, participated in Beth Am's civil rights journey trip to Georgia and Alabama with Rabbi Heath. Her experience was important to her, and it's important to us. We are a white, economically privileged family, living in a town where less than 1% of its residents identify themselves as Black or African American. We sent our kids to private Jewish schools and summer camps that have a large emphasis on social justice and tikkun olam, but with very few students, teachers, and counselors who are Black. As parents, we expressed our outrage over racial inequities. We raged over George Floyd's death at the TV and the newspaper with our kids and encouraged and participated in social justice activities. However, outside of breakfast/dinner table conversations, because rarely did we ever have both, what they learned at school, what they had read, what they'd watched in entertainment and social media, they had no actual experiences to absorb for themselves or even hear live, firsthand, from those who lived through the civil rights movement and continue to fight for equality and justice. And while we both felt an understanding of this history, our place in it, our responsibilities to it, is critical for the development of deeply empathetic people who are designed for action. We had created a life that was pretty lacking in any real exposure to it. When 2 years later, Rabbi Heath contacted us, along with other parents of teens, many of whom are here tonight, who had taken this journey in prior years, about an inaugural Beth Am civil rights journey trip for grown-ups, we immediately registered. This past February, we, along with many friends we had made throughout our Beth Am journey, as well as some new friends, led by the extremely brave Rabbi Heath and Beth Am's teen education director, Lauren Bone, who I believe learned that wrangling teens is far easier than wrangling 30-plus, 40-plus-year-olds. And an incredible Edgar 36 tour guide, Josh. We loaded a bus in Atlanta, Georgia, and began what we almost all agreed to was one of the most powerful experiences of our adult lives. While everything in me would love to provide you with every single incredible detail of every part of this journey, this is not intended to be a travel log, and really whoever really wants to hear every detail of anyone's travel journey. And I hope, actually, that you will choose to experience this yourself, either this fall when Beth Am makes a second trip with grown-ups to the South, or any trip following. And even though it's been a full 6 months since our trip, I still really struggle to find words that can adequately convey the experience in the moment. However, I believe I speak for many of the participants of this trip in stating the visit to the Equal Justice Initiative's National Memorial and Legacy Museums in Montgomery were especially impactful, so we'll share some of that with you. For those of you who have not visited the Legacy Museum, or perhaps not since its expansion a few years ago, you are immediately struck by the understanding that you are in a building that at one time actually sold and traded enslaved humans. The museum takes you through, in the most vivid and interactive ways, the brutality of being kidnapped from your home and family, brought across huge, terrifying oceans with worry about dying and worry about living, not knowing where you're going or what horrors will await you. Incredibly sophisticated holograms of enslaved women and children tell in the first person, in front of you, their stories of suffering. The stories from the children contain a sliver of hope and innocence, which sadly we know in many ways is still not now fully realized. Post-emancipation, the journey into Jim Crow America, where separate but equal, did not guarantee equal protection under the law and gave rise to the civil rights movement, is on full display in the museum. It ultimately takes you into present-day America and the reality that even though laws have been passed and battles have been won in the courts, the perpetuation of white supremacy and the evolution of slavery that continues is a result of the fact that laws cannot change the heart. Evident in so many ways, seen, and as non-Black people were very often not seen, including mass incarceration of Blacks in America. One is forever changed after walking under the National Memorial's massive monuments, one for each county in America, with the names of African Americans who had been lynched, some for as little as making eye contact with a white person, by its citizens on that county's soil, some as late as 1981. The sheer power of just this one afternoon made a searing and powerfully convincing case that we cannot move forward until we have come to terms with our brutal past. What I'd hoped to take away from this journey was an educational and emotional experience that would inspire me to take action that I could share with my kids in order to have a deeper, more impactful discussions about racial inequality. I expected to see new places with new people. I expected to be outraged. I expected to feel guilty. I expected to consider how enslavement and continued racial discrimination of Black people related to my Judaism and the historical experience of Jews. Done. What was unexpected was the impact of feeling these things with others as a community. We learned on the trip of Betham's involvement in the civil rights movement with Rabbi Sidney Axelrod, who joined Reverend Martin Luther King in the march from Selma to Montgomery in 1965. We swelled with Betham pride in our congregation's great participation in this struggle, yet simultaneously feeling that our commitment was still falling short of what we were capable of. Each evening we gathered and discussed our feelings in the day in a way you can only do in real time with real people. We all shared the feeling of having such an urgent and restless need to make monumental changes as quickly as possible, yet acknowledge the power of allowing your feelings of discomfort to sit with you for a bit, to fully wash over you before jumping in, for you to change before taking action that may not be sustainable or impactful, but in a way that may be truly helpful. I've changed as a person, as a parent, and a human in the world. I've also changed as a Betham congregant and community member. Betham will continue to be a place where our family will have weddings, baby namings, and life cycle events. I look forward to my return to teaching as a sub this year, but Betham is now also a place where I work with others to support in support of their contributions to education, restorative justice, and reparations. It's a new shared experience, not one that takes place in our beautiful sanctuary or social hall, but in our hearts and out in the world. A place to grow and a place to explore our obligation to others. While I'm giving you my experiences here, Mine are not unique to me, and they're also completely unique to me. There are so many people here who not only shared this journey, but your own in this way. I really do strongly urge you to participate in this journey in the future, or in any way that continues to engage you in new and different ways here in Beth Am and out in the world. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.